All right, so by now you've reached the point where you have filtered your calcium carbonate. Remember, your calcium carbonate is made up of three elements. It's made up of calcium, which I have in blue dots. It's made up of carbon, which I have in red dots. And then it's made up of oxygen, which I have in green dots. And all of them are kind of like mushed together. Your total sample weighs 0.027 grams. And your goal is to figure out the grams of calcium that you have in that sample. And so the strategy here is going to be, since we know we're looking for grams of calcium, we first need moles of calcium, and we get moles of calcium from moles of calcium carbonate, and we get moles of calcium carbonate from grams of calcium carbonate. So we're kind of working backwards here. And this is actually tapping into something that we did in Unit 1. So this should be a refresher from Unit 1. And so the way I do this is if you start with 0.027 grams of calcium carbonate, 1 mole of CaCO3, it's about 100 grams. I'm cheating a little bit. So that's going to be 0.0000027, oh, not grams, moles. That number comes down. Just for the sake of scientific notation, this becomes 2.7 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 to the negative 5 moles of CaCO3. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. In 1 mole of CaCO3, I have 1 calcium. And so I can say that there's also 1 mole of calcium atoms here. And so these cancel. And then once again, I'm left with 2.7 times 10 to the negative 5. But this time, it changes to moles of calcium. If there was a 2, like Ca2CO3, then this number right here would be a 2, but that's not what it is, right? So this is going to be 1. This number comes back down. 2.7 times 10 to the negative 5 moles of calcium times 1 mole of calcium on the periodic table is, I think, 40 grams. So let's go ahead and put that in our calculator. 40 times 2.7 times 10 to the negative 5. And that equals 0.001, 108 grams of calcium. So now I've figured out how much calcium I have in my entire sample. All right, hopefully that was helpful.